Hey, what's up? This is Rollo. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. You're probably here because you read the title and you were like, damn, I'm not being creative and I'd like to be. Well, I've got a couple tips and reasons as to why you might not be and perhaps ways to change that. So let's just jump into the video. So first off, before we get into it, I just want to put it out there that I'm a producer, an engineer, and an artist, so I operate in the musical world. These things apply to you even if you're not in music. This is just like my context. So if you do video or painting or that kind of stuff, I imagine all of these points will probably help you as well. So stick around to the end because there's good stuff there, I'm pretty sure. So, number one. You're not absorbing enough inspiration. And what I mean by that is a lot of creative processes require you to be inspired by something. They're not just a completely isolated and exclusive task. You don't just wake up and think, oh, I want to create this sound out of the blue. Most often anyway. I'm sure some people do, but most of us, that's not quite the case. So what you need to be listening or visually looking at other pieces of art. And in the music world, this is listening to lots of music. And it sounds again like I'm saying, go steal stuff, go rip things off. It's not the case. It's just by listening to lots of different things, you're constantly going to be getting exposed to new ideas. You're going to be getting inspired. And all of this helps quite a lot to give you fresh ideas. It means that when you're sitting at your desk trying to be creative, there's things kind of washing around saying, hey, what's up? Like, let's do this, which is important. In the musical world, what I recommend doing is just listening to an album every day. If you're driving to work, if you're going to the gym, if you're doing housework, just put on an album that you haven't listened to before. Just by exposing yourself to tons of new content, you're just going to be constantly creative in a way that you haven't been before because you're not pulling from a really derivative source. You're pulling from tons of different places. It's also more subconscious because it's just a massive blend of things. It's not just one or two or three artists or three this or that. It's a lot. And I imagine the same is true for, if you're trying to take photos or you're trying to make a movie or you're trying to paint something or craft something with your hands. It's just if you're constantly absorbing inspiration, the output is always going to be better, in my opinion. Number two, you're stuck in the same routines. It's really, really easy to get stuck just doing the same old thing every single time. For instance, sometimes when I'm trying to be creative, I have the same process. I'll make a chord progression, I'll create some drums, and I'll start creating some kind of vibe, and then I'll start singing. And if I am singing, or if I'm just producing for somebody else, I'll go down that path. It's not very thoughtful. I'm just sort of feeling it out, and that can be great. Like there's nothing wrong with just feeling it out, but sometimes if you're not producing what you want to be producing, you should try something different. I think especially with creative work, it's important to try new things and to get out of your routines because you're trying to be creative. You're not just doing an Excel spreadsheet. You're not just counting money. You are trying to create something that you want to be unique, you want to be different, you want to be different to what you've done before. A lot of that does come down to just trying new stuff, which is kind of different to a routine, but also linked to a routine, if you know what I mean. So try this. Instead of doing your current process, whatever that is, and in whatever field that is, try the opposite. In my case, that would be starting by writing lyrics and starting with the vocals and then doing the track around it, as opposed to the other way around, which I usually do. And when I do that, it often is really good. Well, I think it's really good. It's not necessarily really good, but I think it's a good outcome. Number three, you're trying too hard. If you're trying too hard to be creative or to be inspired, or you're just trying too hard in general, sometimes that kind of stifles your creativity. It's important to try and relax a little bit, try meditating, try going for a run or doing some exercise or just relaxing in any way that you can, and just realize that it's not about the outcome, it's about the process. You're not here to have to force something out. You should be enjoying playing the piano or playing guitar, and hopefully whilst you're enjoying playing that, something cool happens. Every time that I just mess around and I'm like, I'm gonna make a cool sound, and I'm gonna, I get a synth up and I start playing with it, or I play with some guitar pedals and I come up with something really exciting and something really that just gets my juices flowing. At that point, I'll be super creative because I'm already inspired by a sound. And again, I'm sure this applies elsewhere, but I get inspired by the sound that I've created by having fun, and then something great comes from it. It's not me sitting there being like, you know? So yeah, stop trying so hard. There's a time and a place to try hard, but if you're not being creative, try less hard in that regard, I think. Also, I hope this framing's okay. I'm kind of new to this whole land of just talking to a mic without having other stuff happening, so let me know how I'm doing in the comments. And also, if you made it this far so far, you might as well smash the like button and hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to stay up to date with all these videos and get more tips and tricks. Alright, number 4, and this kind of counters the last point to an extent, but you're not pushing yourself hard enough. How does that work? What I mean by you're not pushing yourself hard enough is not that you should be trying harder. It's that you need to push yourself with challenges. You need to set objectives and you need to set different obstacles for yourself to kind of get past. In the musical sense, this would be, I'm gonna write a song that's 1:30 when I usually write songs that are 3 minutes, or I'm gonna write a song that has only gibberish vocals, you know? It's just having challenges that actually push your skills to a different level. You don't want to just be doing the same routines. By having challenges that push yourself, it really does expand your just general ability, and it does create really good outcomes. Where it kind of counters the last point is that you might say, I want to write 100 songs in the next month, which would be like 3 songs a day. That's a lot. And you might think, oh, but then I'm trying too hard to write those songs. But not quite, because you start to really just push them out. You're having to work fast. You're like, I need to write 3 songs today. It doesn't matter what the first or the second song are like, as long as like one of the 3 tracks are good. You just start pummeling them out, and then bam, you've got a lot of songs, and you've kind of challenged yourself and pushed yourself, but not in a way that you're trying hard necessarily. But you also want to set goals, like I want to write better songs, which is a kind of vague goal. You got to do SMART goals. You know, everyone talks about those SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. I think that's the letters. But yeah, you need to have goals. So you don't not try at all, but just push yourself in a productive way. And I think maybe this comes after you've tried to like relax a little bit, but set goals, set challenges. Challenges are really good. I've made another video about that. It pushes you in a really creative way that really helps get something that you haven't done before happening. You know, it forces you to really step outside of that little comfort zone that you're existing in, that little comfort zone. So I recommend doing that. And my last tip, and my last reason as to why you're not being creative, is you need to take a break. You need to take time away from trying to be creative. And this has to be conscious, I believe anyway. It can't just be, oh, I'm just gonna go watch some TV. No, it's like, I'm gonna take a week off. I'm not gonna touch my music gear or my painting utensils or this or that for the weekend or a week or a month. It needs to be super conscious, because I find that the second I do that, 2 days in, I'm like, I want to be creative. I don't think it's helpful to just be sitting at your computer, not being creative and kind of not doing anything, but feeling like you're supposed to be doing something. You think that you need to be creative, and you're like, why am I not being creative? Oh, I'll take a break. It's a cycle. You get really deep in it, and you end up just feeling really bad because, you know, you're not allowing yourself that time off, but you kind of are taking that time off. You need to make it conscious. You need to say, I'm not going to do it. And trust me, after a certain amount of time, you will be wanting to do it. You'll be like, I need to be creative, but I've told myself that I'm not allowed to. And then when you come back to it, you will just hit the ground running. It'll be usually excellent, I find. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean great stuff will happen, but I'm at least really excited to be creative. It's not a chore anymore, because the second you deprive yourself of something, you want it. In my experience anyway. I hope these have been helpful. I hope maybe they'll help you get back on your feet creatively. And I'm sorry if it's been slightly rambly. I am trying to figure out how best to write scripts and to come up with points for these videos. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. It helps me out a ton. And yeah, I'll catch you next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.